In this video, we'll show you how to replace the AC condenser on your Honda Pilot. This is located in the front of the vehicle and behind the bumper. Let's get started. Before we can open up our AC system, you need to bring the vehicle down to a service station and have it properly evacuated. First, we're going to remove the shroud above the radiator. We can just pull up on this, release the clips. We'll set that off to the side. We can go ahead and remove our front air intake. We just have a couple of clips. I'm using a clip tool. If you have a flathead screwdriver, that'll work as well. We have two at the front and two at the back. We'll set that off to the side. We have a series of 10mm bolts all along the grill here. We're going to remove those. There's three 10mm bolts right in the middle of the grill here. We can leave those. We have 11 10mm bolts along the top of the grill here. We're going to go ahead and remove those. Now we need to pry out on this bit of the grill that extends into the headlight here. I'll be using a trim tool. You can certainly use a flathead and a rag. Just pop that out and work our way in. And we can do the same on the other side. With the vehicle raised and supported, we can remove our lug nuts with a 22mm. We'll set those off to the side. It's good to use a magnet tray so you don't kick them all over the place. In the wheel well, we have two Phillips head screws holding the trim onto the fender. You can go ahead and remove those. Now we're just going to pull out on this trim. Under our trim piece, we have another Phillips head screw. We have one screw at the bottom of the front bumper on the inside of the fender. Underneath the front bumper here, we have 8 10mm bolts. We'll remove those. And we have 4 plastic clips as well. I'm using a clip tool, but you can certainly use a flathead screwdriver for this. If we pull back on the fender liner here, we can access our fog light connector. We can push up on the tab, and we'll pull that out. You want to check the terminals for any damage or corrosion. This looks good. Up above that, we have our turn signal connector. Same as the other. Push in on the tab and pull out on the connector. These terminals look good. And we can do the same on the other side. Now we can reach behind the bumper. We're going to start pulling it out all along the edge here. There are tabs all along underneath the headlight. It can help to use a flathead screwdriver, pry up a little bit on them. You want to be careful not to damage the bumper or the headlight while doing this. Now we can do the same on the other side. Before pulling the bumper fully away, you want to make sure you have everything disconnected. We have one more connector down on the passenger side. You can undo that, and the bumper comes off. We'll remove our two radiator brackets. These are 10mm bolts. We can remove our two 10mm at the bottom of the condenser. We'll also remove the 10mm holding in the center bumper support. We can let that hang for now. As you pull the center support out from in front of the condenser, you want to be careful not to damage any of the fins. We can just set these off to the side. Now we can remove the two 10mm at the top of the condenser. We'll remove the 10mm bolt on the upper fitting. We'll get that out of there. Then we can push the fitting off of the AC condenser. You may need to use a pry tool. You want to be very careful when doing this, though, not to damage the fittings. You may hear a small release of vacuum. There we go. We can remove the bolt for the lower fitting of the condenser. We need to remove the lower shroud down here. We need to remove these two clips down at the end here. We can remove these two outer clips. And we'll do the same on the other side. Next we have 4 10mm bolts on the bottom. We can set this off to the side. We can pick up on the condenser, lift it up off the 2 tabs up top, lower it down, and we can remove the condenser. We'll start to install the condenser behind the impact absorber. Get it hooked on the 2 tabs on the top of the radiator. We can install the 4 10mm bolts through the condenser into the radiator. We'll snug these down. And we'll do the same to the top. You want to make sure that the fittings are fully seated down before you start to thread in the hardware. We'll get that snug down. The bolts for our condenser fittings get torqued to 7.2 foot-pounds. I'm just going to tighten this down to the best of my abilities. You want to make sure that it's sealed, and we'll do the same on the top. We'll get the clips in either side of our lower radiator shroud. And we'll get the 4 10mm bolts back in the bottom. Now we can run through and snug those down. We'll get the upper radiator bracket and our center beam back in place. We'll just snug that up. We can get the upper radiator brackets back in. And we can snug those down. We can do the same on the other side. We can get the 4 bolts that hold the bracket into the core support started in. And we can snug those down. We can plug in the connector for our corner lamps, as well as our fog light. As we're installing the bumper, we'll line up the grille and all of our tabs up at the top. Next, we'll make sure that the bumper is aligned with our headlights on either side. We have a few tabs underneath the headlight. We can go ahead and push in on those. Next, we can push in on the grille trim, make sure all of our tabs get set down, and make sure that all of your bolt holes up top are all in line. We can plug in our fog light and our corner lamp connectors on the driver's side. Now we'll install the Phillips head screws on either side of the front bumper, right behind the trim. And we can work our way from the top, pushing in each tab of the trim. We'll line up our fender liner and install the screws. With the vehicle raised and supported, we can go ahead and install the clips and screws from the bottom side. And we'll snug these up. Back up top, looking in the engine bay, we can go ahead and install all of the bolts and the clips for up here. Now we can run along the grille and snug all of these down. We can install our pieces of the air inlet. We can install our clips. We can reinstall the radiator cover. I'm going to just get it all lined up and then start working along, pushing in until it's all fully seated. When installing our lug nuts, I want to hold in on the bottom. That way the rim is seated against the hub. If you turn one lug nut all the way in, it'll hold it for you. We can snug these down. We'll torque this to 94 foot-pounds in a star pattern using a 22 millimeter. Now that we have the condenser installed, you'll need to bring your vehicle back down to the service station and have them recharge your AC system.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.